Hello and welcome back to my RC channel. I'm Andy RC and today I'm going to be checking out the Fullspeed BeeBee 66 Lite. So, as the name suggests, this is a lighter, stripped down version compared to the BeeBee 66, which I reviewed previously on the channel. I'll link that in the below because all of the components are pretty much the same. They have just removed the prop protector there and given it a different camera mount. As you can see there, it's like a 3D printed mount. And they've done this because the BeeBee 66 with the prop protectors was a nice model. However, it was a little bit too heavy for flying outdoors, so they have given the option of this light version. In fact, what you can do on the Fullspeed website is you can buy this version and then order the prop protectors as a separate part, or vice versa, you can get the prop protector version and you can order this mount. And that is something that is really good about ordering from Fullspeed directly, because yes, you can get this model from retailers such as Bandicoot, but they only sell it as a plug and fly there, and you don't get the same kind of support. So yeah, you can leave a note when you buy this thing, so you can ask for whatever colour that you want there. You can contact them and they've got great support, and you can request things like custom setups and stuff like that. So yeah, it's really worth going through Fullspeed. They also sell it with a receiver on their website, and this is the FreeSky version, and Fullspeed now make their own little tiny receivers here, and you can see it's got a bind button on their little tiny aerial, and this is the FreeSky version. Now, one thing I will say about that is that the receiver is crammed underneath the camera there, you can see, and you can reach the bind button, but it's quite tricky, so I found that it was easier to remove these little nylon nuts here, take it off, and then access the bind button. The receiver does power up through the USB, and as you can see, because it's at a angle there, it's difficult to get to, so you do get given the USB adapter, which is a nice touch. But yeah, other than that, the components are the same, so it's the Sunny Sky rebranded to Fullspeed 703 15,000 kV brushless motors. Got these little tiny propellers. This time they have given a spare set, which makes sense because you don't have the prop protectors there. And just from a personal point of view, I'm not going to be flying this one indoors at all because we don't have the prop protectors. For me, this is a nice little model to fly outdoors on a calm day. And just to show you the size difference here, it really is so small. This is the GTR 90 here that I've got to hand, and this thing is really tiny. So yeah, it's a 1S brushless model, and yeah, we've got the 6 amp BL Heli S 4-in-1 ESCs, and this is important to note, and Lewis from Fullspeed wanted me to stress this. You can set up D-Shock commands on this, so there's no beeper on there, and it'd be difficult to add a beeper because it'd be more weight, but you can do D-Shock commands, so you can do turtle mode. Personally, I'm not going to be setting this up because I don't like my motors running when the copter's upside down. I've had ESCs burn out like that, but Lewis really likes that feature and wanted me to mention that, so yeah, it's got that option. And then we have got a Omnibus F3 flight controller here, and then above there you've got a all-in-one camera. It's 25mm, it's 40 channel, and you've got the usual button on the back there. So it's a long press to go through the different bands and a short press to go through the individual channels. You've got some lights on the back there as well for the different bands and channels. So you can see we've got the little receiver antenna coming up the back there. It is a linear antenna on the camera, so you're probably going to want to use a Bandicoot patch antenna, and that's what I'm going to be using along with my Dominate HD3s and a cloverleaf antenna and the Furious FPV True Diversity system. It works fantastic with this, and we've got the usual MCPX connector and the high volt battery, so 260 milliamps. So how much weight have they saved? Well, it's actually only just under 4 grams saving, but when a model is this lightweight, that is actually quite a lot, and I'm expecting it to make quite a difference when it comes to performance, etc. So yeah, it's 24 grams without a battery, and then I think it is 31 grams with this included battery. And I'm going to be trying some different high volts because it's a smaller model now and a lighter model. So yeah, they give you the same battery, but I've also got some of these 230 milliamp batteries as well, also high volts. You get given the little tiny charger, but I'm not going to be using that. I've got a proper dedicated HV charger. I'll link that in the below. It's the EV Peak charger that I use, and yeah, that is everything that you get and everything that has changed. So let's go and take it for a fly and see how it performs. Okay, let's have a see what this guy is like. Line of sight. A little bit of a breeze today, a couple of miles per hour, could be enough to upset this little guy. We're hovering on 50% throttle, so that's better than the non-light version. And that's your punch. Yeah, it's performing much better outside. I mean, you're not talking, you know, 3S power, but you know what do you expect from a 1S. That's just in angle mode there. I do think this is going to be more suited to indoors, but you can fly it outdoors. Not sure what it's going to be like in acro mode. Yeah, you can do it. That's funny. Look at that. I mean, it does it actually pretty nice. Yeah. Bit of line of sight. 1S brushless acro. Wonderful. And it's got the power to recover, whereas I found with the original version you couldn't really do acro with it at all, really. More for sort of racing around in forward flight. Yeah, backflip. Bit of a roll as well. It does it. So I think I'll come in for a landing because there's no low voltage buzzer there, and we'll do some FPV with it. So this is actually a really nice copter to fly outside. So when I flew the original non-light version outside in similar conditions, so a very light breeze, it just didn't have the performance there and there wasn't enough power. So it's amazing what taking 4 grams away from a copter like this does. It turns it into a nice acro flyer. So I thought I'd do a little bit of range testing. Now I didn't take it out too far because this field is a swamp, but you can see the Fullspeed receiver outputs the RSSI value there in the bottom right on one of the aux channels, and I took it out to where the RSSI was just getting under 50% and probably at about 70 to 80 meters. So I'd say you're good for at least 100 meters with this system, which is absolutely amazing considering it's a 1S. So next I want to talk about video noise. There's a tiny ripple when you throttle up. It's not debilitating at all, but I thought it was worth mentioning. Next, let's talk about the tune. Fullspeed put their own tune on there, and there's nothing I'd change about it. It's a fantastic tune. I did change the rates though. Tend to find that the rates that Fullspeed put on there are more suitable to racing, whereas I like to do freestyle, so I changed my RC rate to 0.8, and I prefer it like that. So I do think you could fly this model indoors for sure. However, I'd say it's more suitable for a bigger indoor space, such as a parking garage or something like that. Because if you're flying around the house and hit a nicely painted wall, you're going to get some prop lashes on there, and yeah, I don't think that's worth it. So I'm just going to be flying this guy outdoors because it performs better than I thought it would outdoors. I'm able to do full acro, and that's really awesome. As for the flight time, there's no getting around it. It's a short flight time. With the 230 milliamp battery, it was a 2-minute 17 flight time. And with the 260 milliamp battery, only about 15 seconds more. So I'd say better to go with the lighter battery and get a little bit more performance. And yeah, it's a short flight time, but if you've got a handful of these batteries like I have, not a problem, and you can have fun with it. So there you go, that is my review of the BeeBee66 Lite. I'll put a link in the description if you wish to get one, and as always, thanks so much for watching. Please continue to subscribe. Cheers.